All right, so let's get into the topic, why hard money? So the reason why we use hard money is this. Major banks don't lend money on houses deemed uninhabitable. In other words, if that house is beat up, tore up from the floor up, everything from the roof to the crawl space needs replaced, Bank of America is not going to give you a mortgage on that property in its current condition, okay? Because many people say, well, why don't you just go to a mortgage and just get it? They won't. If there's no copper pipes, if it's a hole in the roof and it's just water damage all over the place, a major bank will not lend money on that property, but a hard money lender will. They'll lend you money to acquire the distressed asset, the beat up house, foreclosure, REO, real estate owned property. They'll lend you money to acquire it, as well as finance the repair costs, right? Because we're all about 100% financing, right? So that's the great thing about hard money. Give you the money to buy the beat up house, as well as fix it up, in short, okay? And you can 100% finance your next deal with using hard money. And this is what I did. I bought several properties using hard money, just looking for distressed beat up properties. And even properties that weren't distressed, but I would use hard money advantageously simply because I bought it with enough built-in equity. For example, I had an electrician, he was fixing one house that I acquired with hard money. He was fixing it up. He said, hey, Juan, you mind if I put you to the side? I said, hey, what's up, Lon? His name was Lon, L-O-N. I said, hey, what's up, Lon? He's like, yeah, man, I'm facing a divorce, man, and I need to sell my house. I'm curious to know if you'll buy from me. Dang, I wish I had my shades. I took my shades off. I was like, hey, Lon, you understand that I'm a real estate investor, right? He's like, yeah, that's what I'm telling you about this property. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. I'm a real estate investor. As a result of being an investor, Lon, I don't buy anything at full value.
Discount.
It has to be at a considerable discount in order for me to entertain buying a property from you. So do we have that understanding? Yeah, we do. All right, cool. Okay, so how much can you give me? Lon, I didn't even see the property yet, bro. You didn't even tell me the address. What you mean how much I'm gonna give you the property? One step at a time. I'm just letting you know, in order for me to entertain this property, you have to buy it at a discount. So being that I bought it at a considerable discount, it was about 50% off the market value of the price. The property I think was valued around $56,000, and I got on the contract for like $26,000. Right? So I used hard money just for the simple fact it was enough built-in equity. I didn't have to bring no down payment to the table. It just had cosmetic repairs. So once I had the property for about 3 months, I had a tenant in there, I went to my lender and did a refinance, and refinanced out the hard money. And with that deal, I actually got cash back at closing. So I brought no money up out of pocket. Only money I spent was on a property inspection and on appraisal. That's the only money I spent. But when I went to closing, I walked away with a check, and I'm buying a property of $1,100. And this is how I walked away with a check. So Lon, hey, based on this contract, you had to deliver this property in broom swept condition. You have a dog on the front porch that's starving. You can see like his ribs through it. It was in winter too, it was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Just starving, right? So I had to call the Humane Society to get the dog taken away. And I said, secondly, you left your furniture. You left your clothes. So we're not going to be able to close. You always want to play hardball too with sellers. And again, this is my electrician, right? And he's like, oh man, I know, man, this came up. I said, well, we can't close unless you want me and my team to do it. So I asked my contractor, how much would it cost to remove the furniture, the clothes, the garbage, and so forth, the dog? He said about $400. Hey, Lon, it's going to be $1,100. He has to pay me for my time. You guys follow? Right? That's what an entrepreneur does, right? You got to make sure that you make it work. And so I said, hey, you have to pay me for my time. And that's how I got $1,100 back at closing. No down payment, but I used hard money to do it. Okay? Just creative financing. Okay? So you can cash out on the value you add. That's the beauty about hard money. When you buy a distressed asset, your main objective is to add value. How do you add value? By the improvements you make. You can add a deck if it didn't have a deck. You can add AC, central air. You can add another bathroom. You can increase the square footage. I did my last flip that I did was in Smyrna, and we had a three bed, 1 bath, ranch style house. And what we did was we had a garage that was attached, and we ended up converting the garage into a bedroom to make the bedroom larger, to increase the livable square footage. Right, that added more value by itself. And so we no longer had a garage, we just had the carport. Okay, and we converted one of the closets into a half bath. Okay, and that increased value just by doing those two things. Okay, it's very simple ways to add value to the property. And hard money is great because it's less stringent underwriting. What that means is they won't be nitpicky. How many of you guys ever bought a property using a traditional mortgage, a conventional mortgage? You have? And what do? They ask you about what's up with this deposit you made on the 3rd? Hey, why do you got this hard inquiry? Tell me more about it. Right? They're very like nitpicky, correct? Not with hard money. They don't care about 2 months bank statements. None of that. So most people ask me, well, what about, you say 100% finance with hard money, Juan, but in my area, my hard money lender requires a down payment. Okay, you can still 100% finance if you use business credit. With business credit, again, they don't use stringent underwriting standards, so they're not going to ask you, where'd you get the down payment money from? Okay, so you can use business credit. All right, and this is perfect for the project manager who aims is to beautify the neighborhood as well as profit from it. Because some people, I get it, they're more like a Michelangelo type of person. It's like when their hands get on something, they want to make this thing awesome. They want to make it beautiful. Me, I can care less. My thing, like even with events, I can care less about the aesthetics, right? I'm like, bro, let's get some seats in here. Let's just pack the house. But some people, they care about that. And I appreciate people who do, who have that creative mindset and like to beautify things. But me, my properties are in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I typically buy Section 8 all day long. C areas, Section 8 all day long. So I can care less about it being beautiful as long as it's habitable and it's up to code. That's all I care about. And everything's durable and cost effective. Not like it has to have a chandelier or it needs to have marble countertop. None of that stuff matters to me. Okay, but if that matters to you, then this would be great for you if you're buying a property in a beautifying area, like a B area and above. And with hard money, it's best used when you buy the ugliest house on the prettiest block. That's what hard money is for. Don't ever use hard money to buy the ugliest house on the ugliest block. That doesn't work, because you need appreciation. You need the values to go up. You want the ugliest house, the beat up house, the distressed property in a nice block, a B area and above. Okay, B for beautifying. A area, that's like people jogging at night. You see a Whole Foods, you see a Starbucks, organic dry cleaning, organic dog food. All those little venues, those are the type of areas you want to do the fix and rent model in. And you can do fix and rent. I actually did this on a property, and you'll get higher than market rents, higher than Section 8. Okay, and which I'm about to go into in a short moment about this story. And I'll get into it over here. So find the money. So what I want you to do is reach out to a hard money lender. Are you guys familiar with any hard money lenders here in Atlanta, Georgia? Are you familiar? Are you guys familiar with any hard money lenders here in Atlanta, Georgia?
No.
Okay, you guys are? Have you, well, let me rephrase this way. Have you guys ever used hard money here in Atlanta, Georgia?
Oh, no.
You haven't? Okay. So typically in hard money, because I have. So typically hard money lenders will have the following terms. I've seen as low as 13% interest rate, okay, and 3 points. Do you guys know what a point is? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll explain just in case. A point is 1% of the amount of money you borrow. So if you're borrowing $100,000 from a hard money lender and they charge you 3 points, not only do you owe the $100,000, but you also owe $3,000. Plus an additional 13% interest rate, and if you had that property for a year, that's an extra $13,000. So in essence, you're paying an additional $16,000 to borrow $100,000. So with the money, many people think that's ridiculous. What? I'm paying $16,000 to get us to $100,000? But guess what? What if you're making money off a property you don't even own? Trust me, if I'm able to make money off business credit cards, again, they're credit cards, why wouldn't you be able to make money off of hard money? And that's kind of the mindset I like to tackle with people. A lot of people get bent out of shape with interest rate. I'm like, who cares? You have someone called a tenant who's paying it, not you. So why do you matter? And who cares? You're actually going to be making money off a property that you didn't come out of pocket for. Who cares? It's all about the mindset. Okay? All right, so reach out to a hard money lender or 100% finance. So what we do is we have real money. It's similar to hard money, but the terms are a bit more aggressive. So with our real money program, we actually do it at 8.5% interest rate. Typically, hard money lenders are above 12%, double digits. Ours is at 8.5%, okay? And the beauty about this program is that you just get underwritten once from the beginning, and then no more underwriting after that for a year. So this is what I mean by that. If you're using hard money with a traditional lender, every property you buy, they want to see your bank statements, or they want to see your tax returns, they want to see your personal financial statement. They want to underwrite you every single time. But with us, we just do it once from the jump, and then you have a line of credit. Basically say, hey, I have a property I'm buying for $65,000. Make sure you provide the funding at closing. Here's the purchase and sale agreement, the contract. Here's the appraisal, and here's the scope of work. That's all we need. What work do you intend to do on the property? That's the scope of work. Okay? All right. So what's real money and how is it different from hard money? I just explained that. Now the thing with real money, you definitely need the 3 C's. The 3 C's are as follows. You need credibility. Credibility meaning you have to prove that you closed on one deal within the past 24 months. You prove that by providing a HUD, which is your settlement statement, that you closed on a property. Now, if you did a wholesale deal, if you did buy and hold, you did fix and flip, we don't care. We just want to make sure you have credibility, just at least one deal done. However you did it, whatever real estate strategy it was, one deal within 24 months to use our program. That's why the interest rate is lower, because we can understand that, oh, this person's more experienced. More than likely, it's not a riskier loan to them because they have that credibility. The second C outside credibility is the cash. So based upon the cash you have liquid determines the amount of money you can get funded. So typically the benchmark is $50,000. So if you have $50,000 liquid, this program will be good for you. Again, that's why the interest rate is lower. The third C is the credit, at least a 680 FICO score. Okay, now if you don't qualify, that's fine. You still can apply, so we can tell you exactly what you need to do to qualify, as well as use other sources, like I've used business credit to fund deals. Okay, we have a multiple of variety of ways in which you can use credit financing for your deals. And the terms, as I mentioned earlier, about 8.5% interest rate. The points can be 2 to 4 points. And what we do is we'll provide 90% of the purchase price and 95% of the repair costs. So you do have to bring a slight down payment to the table. So, and this is the math. This is the math for the fix and rent model, as well as fix and flip model. The math is this. The purchase price plus the repairs have to be equal to 75% of the ARV after repair value. Okay? You guys follow? So I'll give you a scenario, break down the math. So if you know a house, so after it's fixed up and pretty, will be worth $100,000, and if you're buying it for $30,000, and it needs $40,000 in repairs, and it needs $5,000 in closing costs, you add that all up, that's $75,000. $30,000 purchase, $40,000 repairs, $5,000 closing. Then you can get that deal practically 100% financed. But you still will have to bring a down payment of 10% of the purchase price. So I said $30,000, 10% of that is $3,000, and 95% of the repair costs. 95% of $40,000 is what? I can't do that in my head. I don't know, a small amount, right? Less than, maybe around the same thing, around $3,000. So in essence, you're bringing $6,000 to the table to get access to a property that'll be worth $100,000. You guys follow? Okay.
You saying that's the minimum 75?
Yes. So the purchase price plus the repairs equals to 75% of the ARV. If you buy a property in which it goes above that metric, 75%, you just have to bring additional down payment to the table. But you don't want to. You want to make sure you have enough meat on the bone so that you can make profit off that property. Okay. And if you are doing fix and flip, just make sure your margin is about 20%. Meaning, if you know the ARV will be $100,000, that your profit is going to be $20,000. You guys follow? So I'm giving you all the metrics. Okay, this is the metrics that you use when you do real estate. All right, and if you don't have any C's, as I mentioned, you can use business credit. If you don't have the cash, credibility, or the credit, and make sure you get qualified for a mortgage upfront. So I mentioned low doc in the beginning of this program. A low doc mortgage is this. If you're that person who doesn't have full documentation, meaning you don't have tax returns, you might not have bank statements, you might be a wholesaler. This program is perfect for wholesalers or business owners who pretty much get paid under the table. They just don't have their income documented. A lot of wholesalers, they close deals, but they don't have their income documented. They don't have the tax returns, they don't have the 1099s, they don't have the W-2s and so forth. So low doc mortgage would be perfect in that case. And we just had a guy this week, right, Ty? Dwayne? And when he closed, was it Monday?
It was Thursday.
Thursday. And this guy, he refinanced, he had a brownstone in Brooklyn.
Wow. Yep.
And he was able to refinance it at $600,000.
600.
And he's using that money to buy a multifamily property. Sure, no problem. You guys follow? So that's another way you refinance and get access to creative financing. You pull the equity out of existing properties and use it as your down payment for your next property. All right, he's one of our coaching students, so that's why I knew firsthand. And we're using him as a case study to show people how you can get access to this different financing and use it to grow your portfolio. Okay? So you want to get access to a low doc or another mortgage lender. The reason being is so that you can refinance out of the hard money for the fix and rent model. So I'm telling you to do this up front. As I stated earlier, this is a financial freedom principle. Evaluate all consequences up front. So you don't want to go into a hard money loan, buy the property, fixing it up, and realize, oh, I don't qualify for a mortgage. So I'm only left with one exit strategy, which is fix and flip. I can't fix and rent. So you want to do this up front. That's why a lot of beginners make mistakes, because they don't understand the logic behind all this. You want to evaluate, there's 23 principles to financial freedom. And that's one of them that really sticks out. Evaluate all consequences up front. Before you sign on dotted line, make sure you qualify for both. See all the resources at your disposal. You got it? Because you don't want to be a one-trick pony. Now I say this a lot in my events. My goal is not to show you one way to do 50 deals, but the reverse. 50 ways to do one deal. Oh, you got low doc mortgage, you got business credit, you have hard money, you have seller financing. So that way you know all the resources that you have at your disposal to make money off the deal. Okay, you guys follow? Okay, not too much, not content overload.
Can you go over I must have missed it. The low doc, what is that?
Low doc mortgage is a mortgage.
Okay.
So many people use this mortgage to acquire properties or to refinance properties.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, if you're doing the fix and rent model with hard money or real money, make sure that you get approved for hard money or real money, as well as a low doc mortgage up front. So when you acquire the property using hard money or real money, once you acquire it, fix it up, then when it comes to refinancing the property, you already know with a surety, oh yeah, I'm qualified for the low doc. But you don't want to wait until the end and realize, oh man, I'm not even qualified, so I have no choice but to flip the property. I can't rent the property out. Because you want to have multiple exit strategies, at least two. With every entry, you want to have at least 2 back doors to go out of with every deal you do.
What's the typical length of term on the real money?
It's about a year. Great question. So with real money as well as with hard money as well, the typical length of term is a year. It can be extended past a year, but you'll incur additional penalties. But you don't ever want to be in the fix and flip or fix and rent model longer than a year. Your goal is to be in and out on average 8 months max. That's the pretty much being very conservative. 8 months, you want to be in the door and have that property sold within 8 months. Great question. Okay, so find the money, then find the deal. All right, and this is a copy. This is what you'll see. This is mine actually, because I'm a full-time real estate investor. I have a 6-unit under contract now, so I'm not like a guy who just presents and sells coaching programs. I actually buy properties. This is a copy of my line of credit, the real money I showed you guys. So I initially requested $600,000, but after the underwriting was completed, I actually got approved for $850,000. So close to $1 million in funding. Yes, this is personally. As I mentioned, interest rate, I said 8.5. Points was 2 points. So not bad at all. So this is what you'll receive once we give you your consultation. Okay? We'll tell you everything right here. And the minimum loan amount is $50,000. Okay?
And that's the route you were saying, we just basically paying these soft costs. That's what you were saying, going that route.
Yes, that's true. Can you explain what soft cost is for most
Soft
people?
costs is just like the inspection, the appraisal, and the what was something else. Inspection, appraisal.
Traveling,
Oh yeah, and maybe attorney.
attorney fees, and where you learn this from?
You man.
Stating the obvious, right? But no, it's good he says that because you're actually learning something, you're applying the stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm about to pull the trigger.
But you're getting the money, yeah, you're getting the money now.
Yeah. Yeah.
See.
Between the business credit.
That's what I'm saying, you're applying it because you're getting the knowledge and then you're like, you know what, I'm finding the money first.
Set up the second entity
Correct,
for round 2. Yeah.
correct. All right, so after you find the money, the next thing you do is find the deal. That's the 2-step process. Find the money, then find the deal. Show me the money. So you want to have a team of deal finders finding distressed properties for you. Now I'm going to give you a number. You want to have at least 25 deal finders, wholesalers, as well as
Bird dogs.
bird dogs, yes.
Yeah.
Who else? You got some?
Yeah.
Bird dogs, who else?
I just use bird dogs pretty much, but I've done it like through Craigslist.
Craigslist. And you can market for your own deals too, by the way, if you have the time at your disposal. Do we have any wholesalers in here? If y'all can turn around. Imagine Mike. So he will be a perfect resource to find you distressed, beat up, ugly houses. But Magic Mike, when someone reaches out to you, what's the first thing you want to see? If they're an investor and they say they're an investor.
Show me the money.
Good deal.
Right, because you don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
It's true. It's human nature. Magic Mike's expecting a check, but he can't expect a check from you if you don't have any money, right? Okay, so you want to have a team. I say at least 25.
Realtors.
Realtors, yes, that's another good source, real estate agents. So you want to have 25 because it's like having 25 fishing rods in one pond, in one market. That increases your chances of catching the fish. You guys follow? You don't want to just work with one agent. And don't sign those broker agreements. Oh, sorry. I forgot I got agents in there. Only because if you sign a broker agreement, then that kind of defeats the purpose of having multiple finding deals for you. That's why I say that. But as I mentioned, you can do direct mail yourself. You can do driver for dollars yourself, but it does involve additional time. But my thing is, I don't want to do that. It's just getting access to money and getting access to deals. Not saying I have to be the one on the phone with the sellers. I can reach out to my deal finders doing that. Okay, be an entrepreneur. I don't want you to be a mom and pop investor, be an entrepreneur. Real money formula, as I stated earlier, purchase price plus rehab, we actually could go up to 75%. Okay, so not 70%, it's actually as high as 75% of the after repair value. Okay, the purchase plus the rehab equals 70% of the ARV. Okay, now flip or rent. Now when you flip properties, you can get a fat check, but as we talked about earlier, I have to pay taxes, capital gain tax, no long-term wealth. Why? Because you don't own the property.
But if you
You sold the asset.
if you take that profit and reinvest it, you can curb those taxes, right?
If you do a 1031 exchange.
Okay.
You guys familiar with that? Anyone need me to explain that? You said yes? So 1031 exchanges, so what if you flip a property and you get this fat check? To avoid paying capital gains tax, is there any way that you can mitigate that by not paying those taxes? I said yes, by doing a 1031 exchange. So to avoid paying those taxes, you can put into an escrow account, a 1031 exchange, and you have to hold that for a period of about 6 months to use that for your next property. That way you can avoid paying taxes.
A long time.
Yeah. But I mean, if you had a deal already lined up, then that's fine. Yes.
Does it have to be the whole amount?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Great questions, though. You guys are asking very good questions. All right, so that's the flip. Next thing is rent. I prefer rent because I'm a buy and hold investor. I want to own that property and hold it till the wheels fall off.
Eat the eggs and not the chicken.
Damn, bro. Yeah. Say it one more time. Eat
The eggs and not the chicken.
Right. So what you want to do is you want to buy chicken, right? But you don't eat the chicken. Why? It would be foolish.
Right.
You only want to eat the eggs. But when you buy the chicken, you have to make sure you take care of that chicken, so it can continue to produce good fat eggs for you to eat. So likewise, when you buy a property, when you buy an asset, you got to keep it well maintained. You have to keep it well managed. You have to keep that property healthy as you would your chicken. So your tenants will be happy, and you continue to eat that rental check. Okay? That's the mindset. But with renting, you might get a skinnier check via the cash out refinance, but it's not going to be a no check. So in essence, if you buy a property and it's worth $100,000 and you have $65,000 all in, your profit is, let's say it's $30,000. Let's say more closing costs. Maybe it's $25,000 to make it easy. If you sold it as a flip, you get $25,000. But if you did the cash out refinance, you might get $15,000. So that's what I mean by a skinnier check.
With no taxes, right?
With no taxes you have to pay.
Right.
No 1031 exchange. But if you're smart, you won't use that money to go on a vacation to Cabo, right?
Reinvest it.
You won't use that to buy a new chain, a new watch, some nice sneakers, you won't use that for that. You'll use it for income producing reasons. Got it? But you also will receive a passive check. That's through the rent, the eggs in that scenario. No taxes, as I mentioned, and it's long-term wealth. So this is what I preference. Okay? And you can do both. So this is the story I did on the property I owned on Winshire Street. So this property, this is my first hard money deal actually. I bought the property, I was probably in maybe $80,000 all in for purchase price and repairs. Fixed it up, it took me about a year to fix it up. Only because I didn't know about management of contractors. The contractor would send me a picture, I painted the walls, and I saw it, he's laughing, he heard the story. So I struck him the check, and then I made a surprise visit to the property. Oh, you go ahead. I made a surprise visit to the property, and to my demise, he only painted 2 walls. Painted for electric, and the only thing he did was have a generator to jump the lights to show me that the electric permit was passed. And then when I made the surprise, he's like, yeah, it actually happened. I got, the wool pulled over my eyes, right? So this is a big mistake I made with management. You always got to audit your team's work. Who said this? Reagan, I think it was. Trust but verify. You have to verify everything, especially if they're new working with you. Don't just trust them and be gullible. That's the easiest way for you to lose money. That was my mistake. But anyway, I bought the property, I refinanced. Now we were about 80 to 90% completed. Now I was speaking to my real estate agent who happened to find me this property. And I initially wanted to flip it. He said, hey, but Juan, entertain both strategies. He said, hey, I can also find a tenant for this property because this is in the B area, it's close to downtown. I think you can get higher market rent. I think you can get it upwards of $1,500. I said, whoa, Dave. No, the Section 8 shows $900. Because I'm used to buying C properties and I know what Section 8 pays. And I said, Section 8 only pays $900. What do you mean $1,500? He said, Juan, trust me, you will get above market rents. All right, let's do it, Dave. I said, let's exercise both extra strategies. Let's put it on the MLS for sale, and let's put it on Craigslist and other platforms for rent. We did both. We found a tenant first. The tenant paid me $1,550 a month in rent. Did a refinance, and I pulled $27,000 out. So even though I made a lot of mistakes managing the contractors, I still profited. Pulled out $27,000 as a cash out refinance and used that to acquire my next 9 unit. Okay? So I pulled the cash out, and my cash flow, I was receiving $1,550 a month in rent, but my PITI, my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, was no more than $900 a month, including reserves and so forth.
How long did it take you to do a refinance?
Oh, it was about a month.
A month. 30 days after it was finished.
Yes.
Reevaluated.
Correct. About 30 days. Correct. And the whole process took me about a year's time.
I feel like stealing, huh?
It did. And it was tough. It was tough simply because of the contractors. But I pulled the cash out, $27,000, and my cash flow was $600 a month. So I cash flowed $600 a month, pulled out $27,000, which I used to buy my 9 unit. That was the last property. I need to quit my 9 to 5, by the way. And I cash flowed $600 a month for 18 months. And then when the tenants moved out, I did the same process, listed for sale and listed for rent, but this time a buyer came. And I sold it and still made a profit on the sale. So you can do both strategies. So I always preference when you're about 80% complete with the rehab, listed for sale and listed for rent. But I preference it is fun. When you start getting them checks, it's celebration time. But only celebrate a little bit. I will say that. Celebration said that's another financial principle, but just a little bit of it, right? So that's the story of Winshire. You can actually exercise both strategies, but our preference, you lean with refinancing the property so you can rent it instead of just selling it. Any questions on the slide? Okay, so we're almost done here. So apply for funding. So we do have funding consultation in a few moments. We have Ty and we also have Rashad here to help you. We also have real estate consultation. You guys are interested in learning more about real estate and creative financing. Now we're getting to loser versus winner's mindset. Which one are you? And this is what I say to people. They say, oh man, I already know right off the bat, bro. I don't have $50,000 liquid. I already know, man. I don't have the credibility. I haven't closed the deal yet. You know what? So I might as well not apply. And I say, you know what? You're a loser. Let me explain. I know it sounds crap. So this is what I mean by that. This is what I mean. Imagine you're at a race. You're about to start. And you look at your competition, and you realize, oh man, this young lady, she looks a lot faster than me. I don't know if I can win because or they look to the right, oh, this guy looks stronger than me. I'm not sure. They're already conceptualizing ways they will lose the race before even started. That's a loser mindset. Losers only think about, dwell on, worry. There's many faces of fear. It's all worry, unbelief, doubt, fear, anxiety, frustration. All those are many faces of fear. And that's what losers do. They always think about the negative before the race even starts.
I think a good thing to do is not to focus on what other people are doing and just do your own thing.
Absolutely.
It's hard, you know, because you always want to compare yourself with everybody else and, oh, you know, good deal, he got a good deal, but you gotta focus on what you're doing and you gotta decide what you want to do.
Absolutely. It's like stay in your lane, right? Mm-hmm. If you're in that race, you only should be focused on the lane that you're running in,
yep.
Not looking at your competition. But I say if you do look at your competition, have that winner's mindset and say, you know what, she might be faster, but maybe if I just jump the gun a little bit, I might be able to get a head start on her. Or he might be stronger, but you know what, even though he beat me, maybe next time I need to work on sprint drills. Maybe I need to work, they're conceptualizing ways of how they can win the current race or win next time. So likewise, if you don't have the resources or the credit or so forth to get qualified today, still apply for the free consultation. So that way we can tell you what you need to do to win this race to financial freedom. You guys understand? So that's what I mean. It's all about the mindset, and it really bothers me. That's why I started the blog, because a lot of people thought like this. Oh, I can't get started because of my credit. No, you can't get started because you have a loser's mindset. Yeah. No one I own over $1 million worth of properties. No one in my family gave me a dime. Yeah. I take care of people in my family. My mom, yeah.
The way he was, his mindset.
Oh, he said my uncle.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, my uncle, we would sit around Thanksgiving table, and he'll say, hey, you want me to tell you a free way y'all can get some furniture from Rent a Center? Yeah, man, you know, like 19, 20 years old. Yeah, I get some free furniture. This is what you gotta do. You gotta stay in an apartment for a year. Then once you're coming up to your 11th or 12th month in the lease, then you go to Rent a Center and have them deliver to that address, but you're gonna move to another address a month later. Exactly. Those are the kind of, right, y'all are like, what the heck?
I was killing myself laughing.
Bro, I'm telling you, this is the kind of mindset I grew up in. That's why I'm sort of the patriarch of my family as a young man. Because it's not by choice, it's because I was frustrated and I had a burning desire to become wealthy. I didn't want to become like most of the people in my upbringing. But I didn't allow the lack of resources to be a valid excuse from stopping me from winning this race to financial freedom. You always have a winner's mindset. Well, how can I win? Or maybe I can leverage my credit. Or maybe I should go to this networking event. Or maybe I can partner. Or maybe I can use seller financing. Or maybe you always conceptualize ways of how you can win. Right, it's the mindset. That's how you get wealthy in this game of real estate. So I have a lot of videos on YouTube, but people, they know like my whole story pretty much. Because I provide a lot of content, free content on YouTube. Again, you can fact find it. So in 2011, I bought 0 properties. My first property I bought was a 2-family 2010. Then I bought a single family in 2010 as well. So I bought 3 units in 2010. But I bought them wrong. I thought, oh, I can use personal credit cards to buy a beat up house. I didn't know about hard money. I didn't know about business credit. Again, all the stuff I'm teaching you guys today, I learned the hard way, right? So I used my personal credit. And so as I used my personal credit cards to buy a property as well as fix it up, and I used a refinance for my car. I had a car free and clear, went to my credit union, and I pulled cash out the car. Use it to acquire the property, and I used personal credit cards to finance the repair costs. Then when it came back to the appraisal, I wanted to refinance. I had about $30,000, $35,000 all in, and the property was worth about $70,000. So I'm like jumping for joy. Man, I'm getting a huge return on my money invested, double what I put in. And then I got stopped at the closing table. Oh, unfortunately, we can't move forward. Why is that? Your debt to income ratio. Because I use personal credit cards. And so as a result, I had to wait a whole year of using every dollar I had at my disposal, paying down my credit cards. So in 2011, I bought 0 units, only because I bought a few properties wrong. Okay? So that's what he was saying earlier. And I learned that, oh, if I continue to use debt to acquire properties, I need to make sure I use debt that doesn't show up on my credit. Hard money doesn't show up on your credit. If you use I'm giving you guys a lot of jewels, so you really should be writing this down. If you use a regional lender, a community bank, a portfolio lender, in other words, their mortgages don't show up on your personal credit either. If you go to a major bank, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, that does.
So what about a credit union?
Credit union, yes.
It
So
shows up?
does not. All those small community banks, regional banks, you know, the First Commonwealth Bank of this, BB&T, Fifth Third Bank, even all these small community banks, regional banks, do not show up on your personal credit.
So what do you think about Navy Federal?
That should be good, but just confirm with them. I know they're bigger. They do national. Yeah. But I'll say confirm with them. Yeah. Okay, so.
USAA does too as well?
AA?
Yeah, USAA. You don't know about that?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know either, but you can always ask them.
Like military.
Yes, correct. But once I realized, oh, I need to finance or use debt that it doesn't show up on my personal credit. Hard money, business credit, low doc mortgages, all those different mortgage products or funding products do not show up on my personal credit. Okay. So that's why I talk a lot about credit repair, because it's very important. All right, now proof of funds. This is very important to have proof of funds. You want to look pretty to the banks. You want to look attractive to the banks so they can engage in a banking relationship with you. So find the money that fits your criteria: FHA, commercial, or investment. Obtain a pre-qualification letter. So that way a deal finder knows how much money you're working with. Bank statements prove the money you have available. Now, not every lender needs a bank statement. Like our low doc, we don't need that. But if you decide not to move forward with us, they may need that. Just give you a heads up. And find a deal that fits your pockets and show it to your real estate agent. Any questions about proof of funds? So when I say find the money and find the deal, when you find the money, prove it by showing it to your deal finders. Like, this is the stuff you want to see, Magic Mike, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now here's another one of our clients right here. He says, say hello to my 3 homeboys. He applied for 6 credit cards and he got approved for $20,000. He's on our closed Facebook group, so we're big on social media, as you guys already know. Seth, he said house number 5 on the contract using our program. And this is me right here telling him congrats. And a licensed mortgage broker. And by the way, I'm a licensed mortgage broker. I just don't practice it. Because the reason why I became licensed, so I could understand the underwriting of mortgages. So they say yes to every deal I do. So we normally check all 3 credit bureaus and decide with your middle score. So people say, well, what is my score in the mortgage broker's office? We look at the middle score. Okay? And we have 100% finance. We know how to get your credit pretty so you can get funded. Because I was an underwriter, right? I'm a mortgage broker. And we make the teaching as simplistic and digestible as possible. We always want to make sure you understand this stuff before you take action. We actually practice what we preach. However, we're still a student in the real estate game, funding and credit game, so we always update our products with any new changes. Okay? And add new products as well, like real money. So no theories, no facts, no hypothetical situations, just results. Okay? That's all we care about. All right, this is Brittany. She's from she's from upstate New York, near Niagara Falls area. She got awarded $3,500, but what we also teach you is how to increase your business credit lines. and she got it increased to $49,500. So case in point, I got qualified for one creditor, Bank of America. They gave me $1,000. This is when I first started this business credit process myself, right? I got $1,000. So I called them up. Many people don't know you can negotiate your credit line, your credit limits, as soon as you receive your card in hand. And I said to them very bluntly, hey, what am I going to do with a $1,000 limit? I have a business to operate. I want to use this as my operating account. I will need you to increase this. Well, unfortunately, sir, we can't. All right, so can you transfer me to someone who can help me then? Transferred the call, spoke to a manager, they increased it from $1,000 to $5,000 in a matter of 10 minutes. Today, that one card is now $26,500. Not one card. So we teach you, once you get business credit, we'll show you how to increase it. And when you get it and you increase it, you don't owe us a dime. It's just us helping you out through our teachings to increase those lines. It's very simple and doable to do. Okay? This is just another property bought guy here, and it talking about his business funding, thanks to 100% finance for everything. Okay? And if you need funding, then we'll be able to sign you up now. No application fees or upfront fees, as I stated earlier. Free consultation. It also provides you with the specifics. And ignorance is not bliss, so don't be afraid to look at your credit. Now, that's how I was. I was afraid to look at my credit or even answer my phone. Because you see them 1-800 numbers, you don't know who's calling you, right? I'm like, I ain't trying to answer. But I had to face the music. Knowing is powerful. Ignorance is not bliss, it's knowing. My people perish for lack of knowledge. It's a biblical reference. You will perish where your finances are concerned if you lack what's going on with your credit report. You want to know what's going on. As you see, I'm an avid reader. I read every day. Credit monitoring service, we preference Privacy Guard, Credit Check Total, or Identity IQ. But we'll be able to onboard you on that today if you have any questions on which one is preferred. And then it's actually $1 to get access to your credit report today. And I have to say, why not pay $1 to see what funding options are available to you? And he's not paying it to us, they're paying it to them. And this is a third party. We have no affiliation, no affiliate agreement whatsoever. They're just one of the best credit monitoring services there is out there. They give you a true depiction of your FICO score. So I get this question a lot. Well, what about Credit Karma? Well, it's free. What do they say about free stuff? You get what you pay for. Why is it free? So they can advertise to you all day long. The FICO scores aren't accurate. Like, come on. You pay $1 to see your credit report, and we'll be able to help you with your funding options. And you're not paying it to us, you're paying it to them. Okay? And business before pleasure. Does anyone else in here needs any type of consultation?
I paid some money with Fortune Builders, and they're helping me to build up my credit. It's through another company, and I had to do an LLC. I have a company, and it's everything that I purchase, real estate wise, will be with that company. Nothing will be under me personally.
Wow.
Okay.
Nothing.
That's good. So to answer your question, you said even if you don't have a business incorporated yet, can you still apply? Is that an accurate?
Well,
am I saying that?
My question is, I don't know.
Okay.
We need to establish a business name.
That's a great question. So I would say, for the consultation, just apply for free. Don't spend a dime first. So don't make the assumption like, oh, I need to get a business first. Oh, wait, I gotta wait till I get these inquiries removed. Oh, wait, I gotta wait till I improve my credit. Don't do none of that stuff. Allow us to look at everything and then advise you. You got it? So even if you don't have a business incorporated, even if you have a business and it has no more than 2 years, because many people have the misconception that I need to have a business seasoned for 2 years in order to get funding. That's not true. I've done it. I created a business, and 30 days later, I got funding for that brand new entity. I only created the business for the sole purpose of getting additional capital. Okay? So I always advise, allow us to see what's going on with your business goals, as well as with your personal credit, and then we'll advise you. But if we say, yes, you are qualified, but you need to register with the Secretary of State to get an entity form, let's say LLC, then we'll tell you to go and get that LLC. But that's after the consultation. Because I don't want you spending money on an LLC and say, hey, you really don't need an LLC right now. What you really need is to get these inquiries removed. You follow? But great question. Okay. Did you have a question, or you were just making a comment about?
I was just making a comment.
I'll make a comment, okay. Anyone else have a question? Yes.
Trade lines. Do y'all offer trade lines?
Okay, so trade lines is when you piggyback. It's called authorized user. You piggyback off of someone else's good credit. right? So if you had good credit, and let's say you guys were related, you might add him as an authorized user to your credit card, and his positive payment history will reflect on his. But if he happens to miss a payment on his credit card, that will still reflect on him too. And we had that happen. That's why I say do not co-sign or do authorized users. So no, we don't provide it. And we say do not do it because we had one person who applied for a credit repair program, got his FICO score above a 720, even got bankruptcies removed from this young man's credit report. The downside is he added his cousin. His cousin added him as a co-signer for an auto loan. Several months later, his cousin stopped paying, and it reflected on his credit. Right, and it says this in the book of Proverbs. I read Proverbs every day. That's why I quote all this stuff. In the book of Proverbs, it says, Proverbs 22, verse 1, a good name is more desirable than silver and gold. What's your good name? Your credibility. What's your credibility? Your FICO score. Your FICO score is a numerical representation of your creditworthiness of a borrower. Your good name is more important than money. So protect your good name. When people look at your credit report, they want to be able to see a high FICO score. And that works tremendously in your favor when you're applying for financing, especially for business use.
So you guys don't offer trade lines?
Correct. We don't offer it. Now, it could work to boost it up, but in regard to trying to boost it up to make yourself look pretty to the banks, underwriters can clearly see this is an authorized user account. It'll say that on your credit report. So we're not going to factor that in where our underwriter is concerned. Adding an authorized user to your personal account is good if you're using it for, getting a property with your landlord.
What about a credit increase on your credit cards?
That can work for personal credit cards too.
Right.
For personal reasons, that's what I'm getting at.
That's why I wanted it for.
Okay, for personal reasons, it can help you, but not for like business credit.
Okay.
It won't help you. Okay, because some people they'll buy trade lines and they'll try to put that on their credit, but it doesn't work for business credit. So they're just wasting money.